You can't live your life the way you've been living it, thinking that you're going to add a successful business to it. Like, you have to change something in order to do that. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of the Samuel Bell podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about time management, why it's important, and how to productively go about your day. Let's go ahead and get straight to the video. What is time management? Time management is as simple as it sounds. Time management is simply managing your time. That's it. It's figuring out a way to go about your day in a manner that is conscious, specific, and hopefully set up. Here's the thing. If you're looking to become successful in any sort of business or venture or whatever, you will not be successful if you cannot manage your own time, because in business, you're managing other people's times. You're managing your time. You know what I mean? If you can't manage your own time, don't expect to run a business where you're managing other people's time. That being said, let's kind of jump into some of the things that a lot of people spend their time doing. So everyone, has an allocated amount of time throughout the day, right? Obviously, but most people, they spend their time aimlessly doing nothing, whether that's scrolling through social media, whether that's scrolling through Netflix, scrolling through YouTube. Just sometimes you just find yourself just sitting in a chair, just like rolling around your room. I mean, you know what I mean? We've all been there where we have no clue what to do in that moment. We're bored. We're kind of just going about our life, with no kind of plan or no aim. And, we all fall into that trap. I mean, especially if you don't have your day planned out, you're going to find these little, 15, 20 minute, 45 minute little gaps where you're not doing anything. And those little moments right there are key moments where you could really be productive and you could really be honestly changing your life one day at a time. Because you got to think about it. 4 15-minute moments is an hour. 24 of those hours is a day. So how many 15-minute moments do you have in each day where you could be, picking up a book and reading for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of a book is typically around 5 to 6 pages of a book. Well, if you have 4 of those a day, maybe they're spread out, but if you have 4 of those a day where you could have picked up a book for 15 minutes, maybe you end up reading 20 to 25 pages a day in a book. And then that grows in self-development, that grows in, other areas. So finding these little gaps of time where you can pick up a book or you can just listen to a podcast or just do something with it other than just aimlessly scroll or sit there in your room and just do nothing. It really benefits a lot. Here's the thing. Let's back up. If you're trying to do what most people are doing, this channel, this podcast, this video is not going to be for you 100%, because most people never succeed at anything. Most people don't plan their day. Most people are just aimlessly going through life like we talked about. Don't be most people. And especially if you're trying to succeed, let's not be most people in 2023. This is a new year. You got a new slate. Yes, it's we're about a week into January, but who cares? We can start over right now, draw the line in the sand, and let's go ahead and keep moving. And that way, by the end of this year, you're a totally different person than you started off this year being. All right, now let's talk about actually managing your time. This is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about managing your time. I love talking about being productive and figuring out these little gaps in your day. This is one of my biggest strengths, is just being organized and figuring out how to get things done when you feel like you can't get anything done. Jumping straight into it, guys. There's 168 hours in a week. 168 hours. What are you doing with the 168 hours? That's the real question. I understand that, we have 60 minutes in an hour, blah, blah, blah. We have 24 hours in a day. Yeah, but just make it look at macro a little bit and think 168 hours in a week, right? So, okay, let's break this down. Let's just say you're sleeping for 9 hours a day. none of us are sleeping for 9 hours a day. Let's just be real. But let's just say we are. 9 times 7 is what, 63? Am I doing math right? I'm pretty sure it's 63. So 63 hours of your day, of your week, gone. So you're already down to 105 hours a week, right? Okay, let's say you work 40 hours. Let's say you work 50 hours a week, right? Let's just say 50. Okay, just for those people who are, hard workers or whatever. Okay, so we're down to 55 hours, right? Okay, let's say out of the last 55 hours, you take 2 more hours. I guess two hours. Let's say you take 2 hours a day to eat, right? So you got breakfast, lunch, dinner. Most people are at work, so they're not really doing breakfast at home. So let's just say, okay, whatever. Let's just do 3 hours a day eating times 7, 21. 55 minus 21 is 34-ish, something like that. Okay, so you got 34 hours left in your week. What are you doing with it? What are you doing? Let's just be honest. What are you doing with the last 34 hours? Most people, here's what they do. Most people spend 2 hours a day, maybe 2 hours is really pushing it because most people get home at 6 o'clock. So from 6 to 9, they usually split that time with family and then Netflix. So you really got 3 hours a day at minimum. You got really 3 to 6 hours a day extra where you can carve in some type of self-help development. You can carve in watching a podcast. You can carve in a business opportunity. You can carve in really anything in 6 hours a day. That's a long time. That's almost longer than you're at work. As crazy as that sounds. At work, you're there for 40. Again, most people at work 40 hours, where you have about 5 hours a day to build your business or to do whatever else you want to do. So for me, what I usually do, I have a family. I have 5 kids. I have a wife, and so typically I work 8 to 5. Like most people, I work from home, so that's really cool. I'm blessed to be able to do that. But at 4 o'clock every single day, technically I work 8 to 4. I don't take lunches, so whatever. But I work 8 to 4 every single day. At 4, I am completely off work, and everything after 4 is spent with family and my wife. Until about 9:30ish, we may either kind of we put all the kids to sleep, and then me and my wife will kind of do our own thing, where we'll either watch TV or hang out or watch podcasts or whatever together. And then by 10:30, we're usually asleep. Obviously, we could stay up later if we wanted to, but whatever. And so I can do one or two things. I can either stay up later and get things done business-wise or whatever, or I could wake up earlier. That's the thing. So most people, you got to understand that if you're trying to add things to your life, you can't keep doing things as if it's not being added to your life. So if you want to add a business to your life while doing everything else, you either have to do one or two things. You're going to either have to cut away from what you're already doing or change what you're doing and limit time in other places, because you're not granted any more time. Everyone still has 24 hours. Everyone still has the 168 hours. So if you wake up at 7 and you know that only gives you so much time, maybe wake up at 6. That gives you an extra hour. Maybe wake up at 5. Maybe wake up at 4. I know that's extreme, but what do you want more? Do you want the success in whatever you're trying to create, or do you want the sleep? You kind of have to weigh your options. And this is usually where most people screw up, and most people go, oh man, that's just so hard to do. Well, yeah, that's why most people never do it. And so for me, here in 2023, I decided that every single day I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. Yes, I know it sounds nuts. It is. It's freaking crazy, especially on day one. It was wild. 4 a.m., guys. Some days it ends up being like 3:56 or something like that, but 4 a.m. The first day I woke up a little late. First day I woke up at 4:17, I think it was, but I've been trying to stay around that 4 o'clock range, but yesterday I missed it. Yesterday I woke up at 7:45 and I was pissed, super pissed. Not necessarily because I woke up later. It was more so because I missed 4 hours of productivity, whatever. I missed 4 hours of being able to do things that I needed to do yesterday. And it really bit me in the butt because as the day progressed and as things started to go about the day, I knew at 4:00 p.m. I need to be done with everything because I have family time. And so I had to cram that 4 hours that I typically would get into, between 7 and 4:00. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But having that extra buffer time to be able to pray, to be able to journal, to be able to read, to do anything you want to do. And it's 4 hours, guys. You could drive to a different state in 4 hours. You know what I mean? So 4 hours is a really long time. And yeah, again, it might cost you some sleep, but I'd rather the 4 hours, And so that being said, kind of shifting gears a little bit, in order to be able to do the things I'm talking about here, you're going to have to set priorities. That's going to be really the first step to managing your time correctly. There's one thing of managing your time and just kind of like doing stuff and just doing stuff in an organized fashion. There's another thing of doing things in priority in an organized fashion. For example, for me, my priorities may be different than yours. I don't know. But my priorities go God, self-development, wife, kids, business, hobbies. Most people is flipped. Most people go hobbies because it's the most fun thing to do. Business because that makes some money. Kids because they're your kids. And then they go spouse because the spouse is technically replaceable. And then they go God, or actually they may not even go God. They may, and most people don't also do self-development. So the last two are even tricky for most people. And so when you flip it and you do it the other way, what happens is that if you're a believer in God, I don't know if you are or not, but if you are, and you put that relationship first, he can bless you in all the other areas that come afterwards. And then I put self-development before family, business, and all the other stuff as well, because if I'm not the person that I need to be, then I ultimately will lose all the other stuff that comes afterwards. So it's kind of the order of which that goes. So you have God, because without God, you can't have the rest of it. Without self-development, you can't have the rest of it. You have your wife, because she's your wife, she's with you forever, or your husband, whatever. Then your kids, and then your business, because that's your baby. And then hobbies, because hobbies don't make you any money. Hobbies are kind of just there for fun. And really, I don't really see the point of hobbies if you're not trying to monetize it, if I'm honest with you. I have a really hard time with doing things for no reason. So I don't know. I just never really understood how that worked. Even if I'm going to the gym, even if I'm playing a video game, whatever, I am always trying to figure out a way to monetize stuff. So if I was going to play video games, I am not vlogging it, but I'm posting it on social media somewhere. I don't understand doing things for nothing. It just blows my mind. Don't get it, whatever. But here's the thing. If you don't have priorities, you will be blown away in the wind because you have nothing stable in your life. Priorities are like setting the foundation on which everything else is going to be built on top of. So without having the priorities set before you even organize your day, you don't even know what to put where, or you don't even know where to put what. So make sure you take a second, guys, in 2023, while we're still at the beginning of the year, to just make a list of your priorities and put them in order, and hopefully an order that reflects what you want out of life. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a wife and kids, cool. Let's still put things in order, which, if you ask me, it should be God, self-development, then it would be technically your business, and then hobbies. Don't put your hobbies over your business, because then what's the point of you having a business? You know what I mean? So take a second and just, knock that out while you have time. And then we can really get into managing the time. And so one thing that helped me over the years, when I was pretty much from 18 to about 25, I did network marketing. And honestly, I learned a lot. I learned a ton. I built a pretty decent sized networking team. I've had anywhere between 75 to 100 people on my team at when I was like kind of in the later phases of it. And obviously with that many people that you're helping and you're coaching, you have to be organized with your time in order to help those people organize their time. And so one of the biggest things that helped me out was getting I don't know if it's still called the same thing anymore, but it was called a day minder. It's like a little notebook deal. It's like kind of like a calendar, but in this day minder, you were able to schedule out every 15 minutes of your day from 5 a.m. in the morning to, I think it was 10 p.m. at night or 11 p.m. at night. And every night before, I would sit down and I'd write every 15 minutes of what I was going to do the next day in the day minder. That way, when I woke up the next morning, I could open my notebook and go, okay, well, here's what we're doing. Where are the gaps? What can I fit into those gaps to basically be the most productive or like maximize my productivity? So basically for about 5 years straight, I would get up at 5 a.m. I'd drive to the gym. I also added in commute time. So obviously you have commute time, so that's going to take away from some things that you can do, but it also adds things that you can do if you think about it. So for example, I'd wake up, this was my typical day in the life from about 21 years old to about 25 years old. I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would immediately get in the car, drive to the gym. It's about a 15-minute drive from my house to the gym. So I would maybe start a podcast or start some type of audio, get to the gym. In the gym, I'm also listening to podcasts because that's just downtime that you have where you can listen to music, but it's kind of like, what's more productive, right? Then I would go from the gym to work. I would be at the gym usually for 2 to 2.5 hours, leave the gym around 7:15ish, get to work at 8. That's another 45-minute window. So if you add that 45-minute window with the 15-minute window from earlier, right? That's an hour. So that hour right there, that's an additional podcast that you can listen to. And then you at work from 8 to 5 or whatever. So obviously you're not doing anything at work. You shouldn't be doing anything else at work. Got in trouble for that a few times, but you leave work at 5. Let's say at the time I was doing meetings from 6 to 10 p.m. I was at a Panera Bread literally every day from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. from 21 years old to 25 years old, building a network marketing business. In that time period, right, what you can do is at that driving time, you can add another audio, right? At nighttime when you get home, at the time I was getting home at around 10:30, but let's just say you aren't building a network marketing business. Let's say you get home at 6, right? You got to think, okay, well, what are the most important things for me to do at this time, right? So if you have a family, I'd say spend time with your family, spend time with your wife, spend time with your kids. Don't turn on Netflix. Just spend time with them, hang out for a few hours, and then maybe at 9, pick up a book and read for 20 minutes. Maybe at 9 or maybe 9 to 9:30 you read, and then from 9:30 to 11 you work on that business that you've been talking about. You at least do some research. You kind of put things into practice. And then on the weekend, you go ham on that business. So I think the thing is that, guys, I can't tell each of you guys what to do and what not to do with your time. I just want you guys to, if you don't get anything out of this video, I just want you to be thinking about the fact that you have additional time. So many people come to me with the excuse of, I don't have time, before they even think about the time they do have. Like their immediate response is, man, I'm just busy. I don't have any time. And it's like, you do have time. You just have to either figure out the correct times, set priorities, or make more time. And again, you make more time by waking up earlier, staying up later. You prioritize the time so that way you don't have so much wasted time, because I wish that you could just, like, if you just monitor someone's life, most people are spending 4 hours a day just scrolling on their phone when that could be the time. But the issue is that most people want to scroll and be productive. You can't do both. You have to pick one. So that's going to be, I hate to say the hardest part because it shouldn't be the hardest part, but cut the scrolling out and cut out Netflix for a period of time until you kind of get things, moving in the right steps. Or if you want to watch Netflix so bad, stay up later and just do the other stuff first. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to give up one for the other. You just have to you have to choose though. You have to either choose to give it up for what you want, or you stay up later and find time to fit it in after your priorities. Those are your two options. That's it. You can't have both. You can't not add more time and still do this. You can't do the other way. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I know I'm talking to you guys like you can respond back to me, but hopefully I just hope that helps you understand the fact that you can't live your life the way you've been living it, thinking that you're going to add a successful business to it. Like, you have to change something in order to do that. Here's another thing. As you guys are writing out your days and, you're planning your days, always do this the day before. Do not plan your day the day of. Plan your day the day before. Here's why. If you wait until the day of, you've already lost the day. You're going to be emotional about the day. You're going to be like, oh man, I'm tired. Oh, I woke up late. Oh, blah, blah, blah. oh, I got this to do though. I got this to do. No, you want to plan the day when you're the least emotional about the day, which is probably either the day before or days before, right? So for me, I like to sit down the night before and write out everything I want to do, because this is when you're thinking about how to maximize your day. You're like, when you sit down and do this, you're like, I'm gonna be a freaking superhero tomorrow, right? And you're like, I'm gonna wake up at 5, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna be awesome, I'm not gonna watch Netflix, right? That's what you're thinking the night before, because you're unemotional about it. You're like trying to pull out the best day possible, where if you wait until the morning and then you plan your day, but you woke up late and you're like rushing to your way to work, you're like, I'm not doing anything, screw the gym, screw eating good, I gotta go to the freaking concession stand at work, today is all screwed up. So you really want to do this the day before at minimum. I used to like to plan out about a week ahead, and then the night before kind of go in and add into the little gaps just in case something did come up. But every Sunday night, sit down, write out the whole week, because there's things that aren't going to change. Like, you go to work from 8 to 5, so block it every single day. You get home at X amount of time, so block the commute. You know what I'm saying? Like, think, use your brain and block out for the week what you know, and then fill in the gaps of the little things that you need to do or want to do to move your business forward. That I know this is a lot to kind of take in. I know, we've been talking for, heck, it feels like 30 minutes now. But this is going to be key, guys. This is key to changing your future, to changing 2023, to changing your life. It's going to be being good with your time, mastering your time, mastering being productive, and really, really focusing on those priorities and making them priorities and keeping them priorities. A lot of times, guys, what's going to happen is that something's going to be more fun. It's going to be a Friday night, and you need to work on your business and send out those emails and send out those text messages and do all that crap, but your friends are going to want to go out. Friends wasn't on that priority list in my opinion. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but friends are cool, but friends don't necessarily go above any of the stuff that I just added in there. Maybe hobbies, you can kind of swap friends for hobbies if you wanted to, but friends don't come before business, because business pays for your family, and you see what I'm saying? You got to pay your bills. So if you're not going to put your friends before your work, you probably shouldn't put your friends before your business. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, guys, I am going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys got something from this video, anything at all. I will be releasing these type of videos way more often, because honestly, I kind of like this. I kind of like doing the whole like podcast style where we kind of just sit here and we just kind of talk, and I'm just real with you guys. I plan on doing a few of these a month. Also, for people who want more exclusive access, I do have a Patreon set up. You can find that in the link below, where you can have access to pretty much me. We can talk. You can also have Q&As. We can talk about, there's polls where you guys can even come up with some of the topics that we bring up here on the channel. There's a lot of benefits. Go check it out, guys. It's in the link below. Like I said before, I don't want to harp too much on it, but other than that, guys, I think I'm good if you guys are good. So go hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, that way you guys are notified after every single video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.